It's one of those questions that probably keeps new parents up at night. When is it okay to give my baby water? So, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you clear, simple answers you can trust. Okay, so this is it, right? The big question. And I bet you've heard a million different answers from your mom, your neighbor, that random blog you found at 3 in the morning. It's so confusing. But don't worry, we're about to make it really, really simple. And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? Everybody has an opinion, and they all mean well, of course, but what does the actual medical advice say? Let's clear up all that confusion, starting right from day one. First up, let's talk about that first super critical period, the first 6 months of your baby's life. What you need to know here is so important. But lucky for us, it's actually super simple. That's right, zero, zilch. The amount of extra water your baby needs for the first 6 months is absolutely none, not a single drop. And there is a really, really important reason for that. So why is that? Well, it's because breast milk and formula are pretty much perfectly designed. I mean, they're about 87% water, which gives the baby all the hydration they need. Giving extra water to a baby under 6 months can actually be pretty dangerous. It can mess with their body's ability to absorb nutrients, and in some rare cases, even lead to a serious condition called water intoxication. So really, their milk is the whole shebang. So what do you do if you think your little one is thirsty? The answer isn't a bottle of water. The right move every single time is to offer more milk, whether that's from the breast or a bottle. That takes care of their thirst and their nutrition all at once. Okay, but what about when it gets hot? I mean, really hot. It's natural for parents to worry when their baby is all sweaty, but even on the hottest day of the year, the advice is exactly the same. No water. Instead, you just feed your baby a little more often to make up for any fluids they've lost. So what happens when your baby hits that big 6-month milestone? Well, things start to change, and that includes our water rule, especially as you start bringing solid foods into the picture. See, the key thing to remember is that starting water is tied directly to starting solid foods. Once you begin giving your baby solids, which is usually right around that 6-month mark, then you can also start offering a little bit of water. Now, and this is really important, we're not talking about giving them a whole bottle to chug. Just offer a few sips from a cup or a couple of spoonfuls of water right after they've had their solid food. It's less about hydration because milk is still doing most of that work, and more about just helping wash that new food down and giving their brand new digestive system a little hand. And hey, remember, water doesn't just come from a cup, right? You can also keep your baby hydrated by making their first purees just a little bit thinner. And as they get older, things like water-rich veggies and even a little coconut water can chip in too. Okay, now for a quick but really important word of caution. Water can fill up a baby's tiny tummy super fast. If you give them too much, especially in between meals, they're just not going to feel hungry. And that can really get in the way of them getting all the important calories and nutrients they need from their milk and solids. All right, so now that water is part of the routine, how can you be sure your baby's getting enough, but not too much? Well, luckily, your baby gives you a very, very clear signal. This is such a key skill for every parent to have. Instead of stressing out and trying to guess how many ounces they need, you can just learn to read their body's signals. And the easiest one to check? It's right there in their diaper. It really is as simple as this. If your baby's pee is a light, pale yellow color, their hydration is spot on. Perfect. If you start to notice it's getting darker, more of a concentrated yellow, that's a crystal clear sign from their body that they need some more fluids. It's a super reliable check you can do with every diaper change. All right, this brings us to our final point, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all. These are all fantastic guidelines, but at the end of the day, that's what they are. Guidelines. You also have to just watch your own unique kiddo. The truth is, there's no magic number of ounces that's right for every single baby out there. The biggest thing that's going to change how much water they need is simply how active they are. I mean, think about it. A baby who's crawling all over the place, pulling up on furniture, and just constantly on the go, they're going to sweat more, right? So they'll naturally need a bit more water. But another baby might be perfectly happy sitting and playing quietly. They're going to sweat less, so they'll need less water. You're the expert on your own child, so trust your gut. Okay, so let's do a super quick recap of the big takeaways. From 0 to 6 months, it's milk only. No water, period. After 6 months, you can introduce small sips of water with their solid meals. Use the color of their pee as your trusty guide for hydration. And finally, always adjust how much water you offer based on your own child's activity level. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. By following these guidelines, and most importantly, by paying close attention to the unique signals your own baby is giving you, you can feel totally confident about their hydration. You're not just following a set of rules, you're actually learning to speak your baby's language. And trust me, you're doing an amazing job.